Depositions are an interesting window into Donald Trump's psyche. Unlike the majority of his time, Trump is compelled in them to tell the truth under the penalty of perjury. And that fact brings about this one. A deposition is where you get to know what Donald Trump really thinks. He can't prevaricate or obfuscate. He has to actually answer questions and do so honestly. Which brings me to the deposition Trump sat for in 2022 as part of the civil rape case that was brought against him by a woman named E. Jean Carroll. The footage of that interview, which took place last fall, was released late last week, and it is a doozy. At one point, a lawyer brings up Trump's comments on the famous/infamous Access Hollywood tape, which came out in October 2016. Here's that exchange. Watch.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And
oh boy. Oh boy, I take the glasses off for that. A quick reminder here. When the Access Hollywood tape originally came out, this is the fall of 2016, Trump was quick to apologize for it. I said it, I was wrong, and I apologize, he told the Washington Post, which was the outlet that broke the story. Trump then expanded on that point. I've never said I'm a perfect person, nor pretended to be someone that I'm not. I've said and done things I regret, and the words released today on this more than a decade-old video are one of them. Anyone who knows me knows these words don't reflect who I am. Except that we now know that none of that is true. In fact, what Trump said on that tape is exactly who he is. And he's not sorry, not one bit about it. What Trump believes, as articulated in the deposition, is that stars, of which he most definitely considers himself to be one, can do anything that they want in life. That includes grabbing women by the private parts without consent. And what's even more remarkable is that Trump isn't ready to say whether that ability is a good or a bad thing. The end of this quote is, to me, absolutely mind-blowing. If you look over the last million years, that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately. Unfortunately or fortunately. As if there is a possible upside societally for stars to be able to flagrantly violate women's rights. Like that is a debatable point. And now this is not an abstract discussion. Trump is the clear frontrunner to be the Republican presidential nominee in 2024. He currently holds a nearly 30-point average lead over the rest of the Republican field, which means that one of our two major parties is prepared to nominate a man who holds the view that stars should be allowed to do whatever they want with women because A, it's always been that way, and B, they are, after all, stars. And not for nothing, Trump quite clearly lied about how he felt about his Access Hollywood comments when the Post first reported on them in 2016. His issue, as is now apparent, wasn't that he had said it, but rather that he got caught saying it. He believed what he said on that tape, every word. He just didn't want the public knowing about it, at least at that moment. What's perhaps even more remarkable is that there's roughly a 0% chance that Trump's latest comments in the deposition will hurt him in any meaningful way in the race for the Republican nomination, which is, again, proof of the truth of Trump's famous proclamation that I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters. He was much mocked when he said that, but Trump understood the Pied Piper-like appeal that he appears to have over his followers. And he understood the fact that he is judged by an entirely different standard than the people who run against him. Try this thought experiment for me. Imagine Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's running second to Trump in most presidential polling, said exactly what Trump said in that deposition. DeSantis would immediately be cast as a misogynist and maybe even a sociopath. His campaign would be entirely derailed as he and his aides tried to explain what he actually meant to say and how it was radically different from what he did say. It could well mean the end of his campaign, or at a minimum, a huge body blow from which I struggle to see how he could recover. For Trump, it was just another day ending in Y. That his comments won't change any Republican votes, though, doesn't mean that Trump won't be impacted politically by this latest controversy. It's impossible for me to imagine that the average woman reads that exchange and thinks, yeah, Trump seems like my kind of guy. Maybe some women like that exist in the country, but if they do, I have not met them yet. Remember that Trump lost women to Joe Biden by 15 points. He wound up winning men by 8 points. It's extremely difficult for Trump to win the White House in 2024 if he can't do any better with women than a 15-point loss. So what? What should be very clear now is that Trump meant what he said on the Access Hollywood tape. It wasn't a mistake or a slip of the tongue. And he's not sorry either. In fact, he's not even sure if a system that allows stars to grab women by the pussy is a bad thing. This is who Donald Trump is. Let there be no confusion.